Good evening, Bethany family.
Good
As you
evening.
guys can see, it's just Maya and I right now. But it's okay. We are still going to hold it down. It is Monday, 5:30, and it is time for a recap. And if this is your first time tuning in with us, first I want to say thank you for tuning in and welcome. We want to show you a lot of Bethany love, especially if this is your first time. But I also want to let you know what we're doing here on Monday at 5:30. So we'd like to take this time to fellowship with you guys, especially those in the comments, those that are going to watch later. We'd like to take this time to really highlight what we were fed yesterday. So
Yeah.
Bishop David G. Evans, he is in a sermon series around the supernatural life, kingdom faith, healing, revelation, and just everything. And he is just, finishing this year off so strong.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited about this series because it is really taking I always like to say it's like taking a mirror and looking at yourself, and really preparing yourself for what's to
Mhm.
come in the next year. And Bishop has preparing us all year long. So we like to
Right.
take this time to really highlight those things, especially the discussion during Engage Live as well. So if you have any questions or any comments or any concerns, if you did watch the encounter, we want to hear them. We want to see them. So as I always get on here, I always say there are three things that I need you to do, right? First, I need you to like the broadcast, all right? Because by you liking the broadcast, that's making it pop up on someone else's feed on
Mhm.
Facebook, right? And in addition to that, I need you to comment. I don't just want you liking and loving the broadcast. I want to hear from you. I want to
This,
hear
this is a conversation. We
this
want to
is
hear
a
from you guys too.
conversation. You need to be a part of it. We need to hear from you. So comment where you're tuning in from, how you're feeling on this Monday, and let us know, what you're excited about, right?
Mhm.
And then as you are liking, you are commenting, also share the broadcast. We are physically shut out of the church, but we are still moving virtually. And we can still move virtually by doing that virtual evangelizing, right? And that's by
Mhm.
sharing the broadcast. You never know how someone's Monday may have went today. Someone
Mhm.
may have had a rough Monday. Someone had may have had a rough weekend. But by
Mhm.
sharing this broadcast, sharing this conversation, and engaging and inviting them in the comments, it just,
Mhm.
may brighten someone's day. You never
Yeah.
know. Someone
Exactly.
either. Go ahead, Sister Mai.
So we are the light that is in the world, a representation of Christ, and sharing that love can be as easy as Gav said, as clicking your share button.
Yes,
So we're not just saying that, just to say it or get the shares or numbers or what up or whatnot. But like, we really want you to share it because we know, for this broadcast, for Word Impact, for anything that we do, it's going to be a blessing to someone to be able
absolutely.
to hear it. So,
Absolutely. And as you guys are liking, commenting, sharing, and this is your first time, please make sure that you put that VIP in the comments. Even if you watch the broadcast later, we still want to shout you out. We want to show you a whole lot of love. So please make sure that you put the VIP in the comments and join us on all of our broadcasts throughout the week. So I see some faithfuls in the comments right now. I want a special shout out to Sister Keisha, Sister Mylita, Brother Keefe. I see you in the comments. If there's anyone else that's tuning in, just if you don't want to say a whole sentence, send an emoji, a waving emoji. Let us know that you're tuning in so we can shout you out as
yeah.
well. But as you guys are
And
doing
thank
that,
you. I just want to make sure we thank because Brother Keefe and my leader, they both said that they shared. So thank you so much for
oh, thank you guys. Yes, see, you are doing God's work this Monday.
sharing.
That's why you guys stay blessed, right? As you guys already know, we do have up here Sister Maya. I always love doing our introductions, but we have our social media director that keeps us all in line. She yells at us behind the scenes.
What? Me? Never. Never ever.
It's all love. It's all love. We have Sister Maya up here. And if you guys do not know, I am Brother Kevin. And we are just so thankful that you guys are tuning in and just engaging with us. Like I said, this is
Mhm.
the time for us to fellowship and just to, it's just like a big family reunion on Mondays at 5:30. So I am going to do what I always do, because if I don't do it now, I will forget. I'm going to share the broadcast myself. But as I share the broadcast, I want to ask Sister Maya, how are you today? How was your weekend? We had a busy day yesterday. I cannot wait
Yeah.
But go ahead. How are you feeling today, sister?
I am feeling great today. It was warm today, which was nice. I'm
Mm-hmm.
holding on to this warmth because it's supposed to be really cold later on this week with some snow. But on
No.
it's supposed to snow on Wednesday.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
crazy,
know that.
right?
I don't like snow.
I love snow. The first snow I'm excited for. But yeah, I'm doing good. It was like you said, a busy, busy weekend. We got a lot of great stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was good.
Awesome. And this is your favorite time of the year, Sister Mai. And how can we what should we get excited for in this month? Coming from,
So much. So this is the last month out of the year, obviously. So
mhm,
we of course we gotta go out with the bang. Starting with our toy drive that we're doing. Our goal is to hand out no, not 1,000, 4,000
mhm.
uh, coats, toys, hats to children in our community. So that is our Catch the Fire toy drive that is happening right now. Again, we're trying to meet our goal. Things have been rough uh, for so many people this year, so we just want to make sure that we are able to help out, our loved ones and our families in
Yeah.
the community. So the deadline for that is December 12th. You can bring those donations and drop them off in the bins in the main lobby.
Mhm.
Or you can go to our website, go to bethany.com/giving, and catch the fire with us there. So that's
Um,
probably the most exciting thing that's happening for the Christmas holiday.
mhm.
But something else that we're doing is the Christmas Spectacular. I'm so excited. Spectacular. Christmas Spectacular is happening on Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. It'll
Mhm.
be broadcasted live on our Facebook and YouTube channels, and it really is just a fun time to have with the family the night of Christmas Eve. The Engaged team is there and ushering us all through uh, music and games, and of course, there's a word from Bishop and Pastor Nick that's going to happen that night too. So we want to make sure you know about that.
Mhm.
And tune in with us for Christmas Eve. So much happening. Okay, so that's happening. We got the toy drive, Christmas Spectacular, two
Yes.
other things that we're doing.
Mhm.
The Ugly Christmas Sweater Contest, uh,
Mhm.
where you can decorate ugly Christmas sweaters, as Kev says, up the ugly.
Up the ugly, guys. Come on. The
Up the
jingle
ugly.
bells. We want to see the ornaments on the
Yes,
sweaters. Up the ugly,
up the
please.
ugly. So you want to take a picture of yourself in the ugly Christmas sweater. You can email it to social@godobethany.com or tag us in a pic online so that you can enter into the contest, and the winner will be announced during Christmas Spectacular. And then we also have the ornament decorations. If you want to decorate a homemade ornament and mail it into the church, we'll place it on a Christmas tree. So I think that's about
Yeah.
all that's there for Christmas. We're getting ready for some New Year's stuff too coming up next. But these next few weeks are going to be busy, but a lot of fun.
Very busy. So before we go on, I do want to shout out Sister Tiff. I see you in the comments saying that it's
Hey,
60s wherever you are. Let us know where you're tuning in from, Tiff, so we know where it's 60 degrees at. And then
no,
Sister
that's where I
Denise,
need to go.
Sister Denise is tuning in on YouTube as well. So shout out to you guys. But yes, as Sister Maya said, in the upcoming weeks, we have so much. So I do encourage you guys to please donate to the Catch the Fire Initiative. We were at the church yesterday for Engage, and we were able to see some of the coats that were already donated. And it's a beautiful thing. I love Catch the Fire, all three legs of our Catch the Fire,
Mhm.
but especially since this is, the last leg of it, and those coats are very essential. Not only are
Yeah.
those toys, but those coats, those gloves, those hats, everything, is very essential. So we do
Mhm.
appreciate you guys. And if you are in need of any of those things, please,
Yes.
as Sister Des says all the time, please do not be shy or hesitate or, too embarrassed to say that you need those things or to reach out to the church. Please
Mhm.
do that if you are in need of those things. And then, of course, yes, we have the Christmas Spectacular coming up. It is a way where we want you to join with your family on Christmas Eve and just enjoy the true meaning. of
Yes.
Christmas and, have some church with it, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Absolutely.
excited for the engaged team to do what we always do, but have some worship as well, some word with that as well. So that is happening on Christmas Eve. Oh, you're on South Carolina, Tiff? Oh, see,
South Carolina.
God bless you. I'm a little scared down
They
south.
had bigger bugs down there.
Yeah, they have a lot of bugs down there. I'm a little scared, so I'm gonna pray for you up here in New Jersey. But I do have some family in the Carolina, so God bless you. But and in addition to that, yes, please submit those ugly Christmas sweaters as well as those ornaments and get ready for watch night service as that
Mhm.
information is going to come out in the upcoming weeks.
And if I could say one more thing,
Of course.
we really want to hear what your favorite Christmas memories are,
Hmm.
whether it be, as um, being a Bethany memory, or just, throughout life. If you have a favorite Christmas memory, go ahead and share that with us as well too, so that we can, have some holiday cheer.
So since this is your favorite season, what is your favorite Christmas memory, Sister Mai, or
Mm,
just
I
something that
have.
you want to do going forward, like a new tradition or something?
So something that my family and I do every year, is we have we're a competitive family.
I love
So
it.
we have an ornament decorating contest.
Mm.
And so we get, our ornament kits together and we
Mhm,
decorate. We might have a theme that we need to decorate to.
mhm.
So we each decorate our ornament, we place it on the tree, and then we go over to Facebook, and then we have like our Facebook friends uh, do a poll on which one they think is better. I must say, I am a winner 2 years in a row.
Oh, see, Imma have to talk to Mama LaBoo because we're gonna have to switch this up. Imma need for her to
So, the competition's high for this year too to
Ooh.
see.
Oh, the pressure is on now that we know
Mhm,
that you won 2 rows in 2 years in a row.
mhm.
Mama LaBoo, if you're watching, my baby, we
Uh-oh. So
we
that's probably my favorite Christmas memory, something I enjoy doing and am excited to pass down with my family once they are here many years from now.
I love that, I love that. Yeah, I think my favorite it's just not one memory, but it's just, spending time with my family. We
Mm,
prior to COVID, we would do, New Year's Eve, going to the movies, but on Christmas Day, we actually just spend that time to just celebrate with each other and just eat.
mhm.
And the next day after Christmas is when we do our Christmas shopping. So we don't get the gifts before Christmas. We just go
That's
out.
so weird.
But is we make a whole day out of it and it's just so
Yeah.
much fun. Like we just have so much fun. Like you ever just like just be with your family, just the craziest thing, like the
So wait,
stories
you
I
guys
can
go
tell.
shopping as a family for your Christmas gifts?
Yeah.
That's
We
the you guys like to shop, right? That's
Mhm.
that's why you make it a thing. Okay. Got it.
It's a nice tradition. We get breakfast, we get lunch, we get dinner. It's just a whole day. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, all right, I had enough of y'all. It's time for me to part
Mhm.
ways. But no, it is fun. It's a good time. It's a great time. So Bishop is in this in well, not new series, but
Yeah.
relatively
It
new.
still feels new because
It
every week
still
he's
feels
just
new.
like, I'm getting trying to
Right. Still trying to catch
get
up.
out alive all those gems and whatnot that he's dropping.
I'm still trying to catch up from Chestnut Checkers, but now that
Yeah.
Bishop is in this series, um, all the series throughout the year have just been on time, spot on. Especially this being the last month of the year. I think sometimes for us as Christians, we tend to forget that, the holidays are a happy time, but it can also be a sad time for some individuals.
Mhm.
It could be a depressing time for some individuals too, especially those that had goals and aspirations for the new year. And
Yeah.
December, just like, oh my gosh, I didn't accomplish those goals, or I didn't exceed those expectations, may make someone feel a little like they didn't accomplish anything, right?
Mhm.
So with this sermon, especially this Sunday about this season of fulfillment,
Yeah.
and stepping into our healing and having that faith, I really feel like it really shook us up to really look at ourselves and really to step into that authority, right?
Mhm.
So Bishop stated that we live in a culture where we have been encouraged to validate ourselves, that can lead to an ego-driven, almost critical way of seeing things, such as everything compared to yourself. But if you adopt how God has created you and your identity lies in Him, then there is no comparison. That negative comparison can hinder our receiving from God. So I want us to start our conversation from there because I feel like our generation, and we probably could, share this for Fresh Friday this Friday, but I feel like our generation, we tend to compare our lives a lot to the
Mhm.
next person. And I don't always want to blame social media because, social media is just something, but
It's a piece of the pie.
yeah, it's a piece of it. So, what are your thoughts about that, especially coming from a millennial standpoint about us, comparing ourselves to the next person, which actually, it actually drives our ego when it comes to certain things that we're entitled to certain things or, our identity instead of allowing our identity to lie in God, we basically, mess up our own identity and stuff.
Mm.
What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think part of that struggle is from not knowing from the get-go who what our identity truly is.
Mhm.
A lot of this stuff starts early in life, in middle school, elementary school, trying
Yes.
to compare yourself to what's seen in the media or what I'm saying, like there's so many images that were given at such a young age of what is deemed cool
Mhm.
or beautiful or handsome, whatever, that in those years where we're supposed to be discovering ourselves, we're really discovering other people, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
So I think the fact that we don't truly know who we are unless we take that time to really dig deep
Mhm.
and discover that person, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison
Yes.
because you're constantly trying to be that idea of
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're chasing.
Right. And I think it's very important for us to remember that we cannot compare ourselves to the next person or live up to the next person's expectations because
Mhm,
their expectations may are different from ours, right? So
mhm,
if it's the older generations, like, oh, you should be here or there or doing this or having a family at this time, like you
mhm.
cannot compare because it's a different, time period and you're a different individual. What I can say is that I am one thing that I've learned, um, once I hit 25, I learned that I can't put myself on a timetable because
Mm,
from 18 to 25, I was put myself on a
yeah.
timetable. Like, all right, I need to have this career. I need to do this. I need to be here in life. And I feel like God was just sitting and just watching, like, oh, Kevin, you know,
You think you know what you're
you
doing.
think you know what you're talking about. You think you know what you're doing, but it's really not going to work out that way.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I can truly say that, I'm excited because in March I'll be 29 and I'm excited to
You
leave.
old man, you.
I'm excited to leave my 29s because I feel like my years in my 20s I've really have developed my identity. I don't feel like you develop your identity within like a year or so. I feel
Mhm,
like it is a process and I feel like that's why people it's harder for people to identify themselves because they want it like this. Like as
mhm.
Bishop always says, we live in a microwave society where we want it instantly. But I feel like our identity develops over time. Even when Bishop and Pastor Nick were talking in the discussion, someone had asked a question about being a new Christian and stuff like that. I relatively still feel new in my walk with God. Like I'm learning things every day that you would have thought that and we've been in church all our lives.
Yeah.
So I truly feel like your identity, it happens over time and I feel like sometimes we don't want to um appreciate the process. We don't want to um make the process we want to make it shorter than what it it's expected to be, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
comes with the
absolutely.
comparison, right? So, of course, I'm gonna compare the next person because, oh, they're 25 and they have this.
Mhm.
But I always say to, especially to my students, because, I have young adults as students, I always say to them, I'm just like, "You can't compare yourself to the next person because you don't know what
Right.
journey they went through or what hell they had to go through to get to where they are," right?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know what someone's story is, and just because they may look one way or look like they have it all going on, and the truth of the matter could be the complete opposite of
Absolutely.
what you see. You know?
Absolutely. You don't know what they had to do to get there, right?
Mhm. Mhm. And so it's easy to say we want something without taking on the actual struggle of what it takes to
Mhm.
get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Bishop stated that faith is not a try. So we need to shift from I'm going to try to do this to I've decided to do.
Could we pause? 'Cause I wanna make sure we, sorry, I don't mean to
No, you're fine.
interrupt you, but I wanna put Tiffany's question up. What are your thoughts on late bloomers, though? Some of us do not really get going until a particular age. Yes. And
That is yes, I love
going going back to what you said, Kev, like, I feel we don't it's not until we let go
that. Mhm,
that we, really start to learn who we are.
mhm,
You ever hear your mom say, or people I've heard, like, my mom says it all the time. Like, when she got a certain age, she just didn't care anymore, and she
mhm,
just was true to herself, right?
mhm,
I think that's the same thing. And once we stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to perform a certain way,
mhm.
I don't think we can really begin to flourish, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
no.
my thought on late bloomers is, first of all, what is a late bloomer?
Yeah. What is I think that's the first step. Like, what do we define as a late bloomer? Because just as well as we said that you can't compare yourself to the next person, you also can't
Yeah,
compare your timeline to the next person. So
exactly. So
someone may be more developed
there
in their
is no such thing as being a late bloomer. You are meant to do and be where you're at in
absolutely.
that time.
I truly believe that God, with the late bloomers, um, you you find your purpose at a certain
Mhm.
age because you had to go through certain things to get to that purpose. So
Absolutely.
even if you consider yourself as a late bloomer, I feel like you go through certain trials and error where you learn from.
Mhm.
That's something that I always try to preach to myself that when
Yeah.
something happens, I don't always look at the negatives. I try to find a positive in a situation.
Mhm.
Like, okay, what can I take away from the situation? What can I learn from that situation to prepare me for the next journey, for the next
Yeah,
trial, for the next season in
exactly.
my life, right?
Perspective, and that's what I mean when I say you have to let it go, because you can be so focused on trying to perform that you're missing out on things
Hmm.
that could ultimately lead you to your purpose. So
Absolutely.
take that pressure off.
Yeah, but that was a great question because um, I feel like in our generation, we do not to say late bloomers, but I do feel like we change our careers up so many times that we're still trying to find ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Like I'll just use myself as example. I'm in education, but when the pandemic happened, this young lady that was up here with me, um, she was like the quicksand. She got me into
Me?
social media. Yeah, you. She helped me find a love and a desire for social media. And she knows the private conversations that we had where, my love for it is growing. So, you know, I feel like our mindset sometimes we get stuck on a certain thing, but your love for other things can grow as well. And
Mhm.
I feel
You
like
never know what
you never know,
opportunities will be
right?
presented to you that will allow you to discover, oh, this is actually, I went to school for biology. I didn't think I'd be sitting here right now, but
Right.
I have to just let go of what I thought I should be doing and
Mhm.
be open to the direction that God was actually steering me in.
Absolutely. And I love what Tiff just said. So stop trying to keep up with others that appear to be doing better than you. And then
Mhm,
also, don't even look at someone doing better than you, right? What's for you is for you. What's
mhm.
for the next person is for the next person. So
Yeah.
like I can't sit up and say, here, I'm doing better than Maya, and Maya can't say that she's doing better than me because what's for me is for me. It may not be
Mhm.
for Maya. And what's for Maya is for Maya. It may not be for me. So don't look at someone doing better than you, right?
Right.
So in the kingdom, it's either you do you either do it or you don't. Pastor Nick stated that not to look at who we are presently, instead acknowledge who you are, but as you do, you will become different. Once God has called us to a thing, we have to be consistent in doing because the doing is where the transformation is. So with everything that we're saying, I think the number one thing that we have to do is stay consistent,
Mhm.
right? So we talked about that process. We talked about whether you're a late bloomer or not, right? But with that, you have to be consistent within it, right? You can't say, all right, I want to try this, but like sit back and listen. Trust me, procrastination is one of my downfalls.
Me too.
So when it comes to starting something new and stuff like that, procrastination hits. It's real. It is a real thing. But something that we are learning in this series and throughout this year is that consistency is key when it comes to finding that purpose and finding those imperfections about yourself and developing in the kingdom, right, Sister Mine?
Absolutely. Like we we have habits.
Hmm.
We form those habits without thinking about it too much. I think we can do the same and developing the consistency in the things that we're trying to do.
Hmm. I love that. So Bishop stated that he believes that the hardest part of our confession is forgiving ourselves. This is because we have to confront our imperfections. So when Bishop said that during the discussion yesterday, I was just like,
Say it again because it was so good.
Bishop stated that he believes that the hardest part about our confession is forgiving ourselves. This is because we have to confront our imperfections.
Hmm.
And that is so true because that's the hardest part in just saying I forgive myself for that. We can forgive everyone,
Hmm.
friends, family, just we can forgive people, but when it comes to ourselves, it's like,
You know why?
go ahead.
Because we see the value in those relationships.
Mm.
But sometimes it's hard to see our own value and to see how worthy and how important
Miss
we
Ma'am,
are to ourselves.
Miss Ma'am.
And
Listen. So wow. So we see the value in those other relationships, but we don't see the value in ourselves. So we don't feel as though that we are good enough to be forgiven. And that, that's true.
mhm. Because I mean, think about it. For the things that you don't care about, or even for the relationships that you don't care about, it's easy to toss and move on. And we try to do that for ourselves. Of course, we can't, end a relationship with ourselves.
Mhm,
But what we can do is not forgive ourselves and put that pressure of, oh, I'm never good enough. I'm
mhm,
a failure, and put those labels on ourselves
mhm.
instead of forgiving ourselves and allowing ourselves the time to heal.
Yeah. And I think we have to realize that I think sometimes people look at it as a weak thing, but I look
Hmm.
at it as a strong thing. Like um when people say like, "Oh, it's weak to, express your emotions or
Hmm.
cry and stuff like that." I don't look at that as a weak thing. I look at that as like a strong thing. Like it takes a lot for you
Hmm.
to do that. So when it comes to that forgiveness, especially forgiving yourself, I feel like that's such a strong characteristic within who you are because that's saying to God that I'm ready to leave the past and move forward to, my Eden, to my
Mhm.
my purpose, to, the future that you have in store for me.
Mhm.
So that, sister mine. So listen, something else that Bishop stated yesterday that really resonated with me. He stated that a lot of times Christians make the mistake of giving mature advice to
Hmm.
someone that's immature in their faith. You have to have some preparation conversations to get them to the place where they can accept the revelation for something as spectacular as a miracle, but there is a maturity that comes along with that. So I want to talk about this because this resonates with me a lot. Um,
Okay.
because I tend to be that one friend that's always giving out advice, to help. And speaking
Hi.
of,
One at a time.
speaking of
Huh?
friends, my partner in crimes here.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Hey,
I'm the third person in this dynamic duo.
oh no, you are the leader. You brought the dynamic duo together, so you get kudos, my dear.
Sorry
But
I'm late, guys. Could you
no,
shut
you're
up
good. And
one second?
Ali wants to make an appearance.
Right. I just got home, so he's like now on my face. He's like, hi,
No,
hello.
just in time because Sister Des and I were just talking about this yesterday. But I said Bishop stated that a lot of times Christians make the mistake of giving mature advice to someone
Mm,
that's immature in their faith. You have to have some preparation conversations to get them to a place where they can accept the revelation for something as spectacular as a miracle, but there is a maturity that comes along with that. So, Sister Des, I'm sorry, I have to throw you in there. What are your thoughts about that? Because we were just talking about that.
I know we were, and we said that it can go beyond just like your spiritual walk. Like if
Mhm,
someone's not ready to have the conversation about whatever that thing is, if they're not prepared to receive it, then
Mhm.
you're kind of like you're speaking for no reason,
Mhm.
because that,
mhm,
they're not set up. Stop, please. They're not set up and prepared,
mhm,
and so it's just you're on two different levels, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you have to wait for someone to catch up, and it's not like a negative thing, like, oh, I'm above you or whatever. It's just like
right.
you just haven't gotten there yet. You haven't grown to this stage yet.
Mhm.
My dad likes to one thing that he in my early, I guess, my younger adult years,
Mhm.
I struggled a lot. Please don't knock this over. Thank you. I struggled. Sorry, I'm talking to my
Does
dog.
he
Excuse me.
understand what you're saying?
Yeah, he does, because he's like he like gently moved over a little. Um, no, in my like younger adult years, I felt like I was, you know, I was supposed to have everything together, and I'm like, okay, I'm an adult. I need to be mature already. And
Mhm.
one thing that he would say to me is like when I was like 21, he's like, Des, think of it as a child all over again. You've only been an adult for 2 years or 3 years or however many, you know what I mean? So now, as an older young adult, it's like, okay, shut up, Maya, I see your face.
Yeah.
As an older young adult, it's like, okay, I've had a few years into this adulthood. Someone who's new in the adulthood might not understand what I have to say, or even someone who's been an adult for, as
Mhm.
long as I've been alive, they would have so much more wisdom, so much more maturity in what it is that in this life. So I think the same thing, our spiritual walk aligns with our earthly walk as well, is if you
Absolutely.
have to be ready for the conversation, whatever that is, and ready to receive it.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I think another thing to consider too is as the person who is giving the advice, are you doing this to the benefit of the person you're giving the advice to,
Mhm.
or to the benefit of yourself because it makes you feel good,
Mhm.
And I think that requires you to listen and to get those cues as to what Bishop was saying. You have to kind of ease them into it, and
Mhm.
the person you're giving the advice to, and you can't do that if you're so focused on whatever you get,
Right.
being able to share information or
Right.
to direct or whatever,
No, absolutely. I think you definitely have to assess the situation. You definitely have to go in with go in with the intention that it's for their healing.
for their healing. And then you're not getting anything in return.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because if you're just going in it like, because I'm just gonna say because I want to say it, it's not helping anyone. It's not helping anyone's
Mhm.
healing. It's not helping anyone's deliverance or salvation.
And some people get offended. Like, I gave you all this advice, you didn't do it. That's
Hmm.
not for me to be mad about because you didn't listen to me.
Hmm.
You have to remember that that's their walk. They have to walk and do things in the way that they feel is best for them. So I think sometimes we need to take our own feelings out of, you know, being that person who's giving the advice.
Yeah, and that's so true. You have to um, also realize that not everyone, like Sister Dad says, not everyone is at the same spot as you in your walk. So
Hmm.
someone may be, still trying to process everything when it comes to their walk with Christ and stuff like that. Or, not everyone's faith is set up the same way because you can't tell everyone about your healing because not everyone may receive healing like the way you're receiving healing and stuff like that, or have that same about certain things. It's so crazy because I did see a post on Instagram today. It said, "Don't share your dream with everyone. Not everyone has the same faith as you."
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Wow, that like
Yeah.
that's deep because if they don't have the same faith as you, they're not going to have the same terminology and the same vocabulary when it comes to
Yeah.
speaking into existence." Go
And
ahead.
let's think about it this way too. And Des, I know you have something to say too. But think about Jesus back in the day.
Back in the
Back
day.
in the day. And the guys he rode up to in the boat.
Hmm.
He
Not he,
didn't just ha
not he wrote up to. He
rode
wrote up
up to in the boat.
to. Good.
He didn't just hit them beside the head and was like, "Hey, I'm Jesus, follow me, and we'll be fishers of men." Like, there was a whole experience that led them to walk with Christ.
Mhm.
He said, put your net on this side, and all the fish that jumped into the net, and they were able to see through their experience,
Mhm.
not just because they were told
Mhm.
that this was Christ, and to get started in their faith journey. Does that make sense?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
So I think you have, like, going back to what you said, Kev, like, you have to ease people into it and not just give out facts, but show them by walking with them that this is what could happen.
This is
Absolutely.
why we're play cousins, because that was exactly where I was going.
Yeah. See?
That's exactly where I was going. Is like sometimes it's not a negative thing that someone's not on your level. Sometimes it's you're there to help them get there and having being patient with them
Hmm.
in that journey of getting there. And I like that you used that example. I was thinking of Mary and the angel, 'cause,
Mhm.
and how she could not have. I don't see her being initially mature enough to receive that. You know what I mean? Receive the message of you're about to have a kid and you've never done anything to have a child. I can't, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can't. So the patience that that angel must have had
Yeah.
with her, like, hey, listen, I know this is wild, but it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's just being patient with people who are still crawling, and then remembering when you were crawling, because I think a lot of times a lot of folks get on their um
High
high
horse.
horse, yeah,
Yes.
and forget where they've been and what they've been through in their own situations. So it's like be patient with folks and also meet them where they are sometimes and help them up.
Amen. Amen. So, if you guys enjoyed this conversation tonight, this was all developed, all produced from the word that we were fed this Sunday from Bishop David G. Evans. So, I encourage you guys just go back and watch. If Deacon Antoine was here, he would say, go back and watch it again. Take your notes, meditate on it, watch it again, listen to the worship. Deacon want to say all that because you really have to let it soak in and just really marinate and just really hear the word. And if you have any other questions about it or any other comments, please make sure that you join us every Monday at 5:30 and drop them in the comments. Oh, and the deacon
Oh,
is
really?
watching.
Really?
The
Deacon
deacon is
Antoine?
here. See, you see how God works.
Leave it in the comments.
He's in the comments, but did I do it right, Deacon? Just do a thumbs up. But this is just a little. Are we gonna get something? Are we gonna
I
get
did
something?
for
Oh, okay, you're gonna do it for okay, thank you. This is just a little piece of what we were fed. This was just an appetizer. See, Deacon is saying rewatch it. See, the team is always together. But this is just a little bit of what we are fed each and every week. So we want you guys to go back and watch it and just guess what? It's coming back on tonight at 7 o'clock. So you got your appetizer. Now it's time for the entree at 7 o'clock. So I encourage you guys to please let someone know that we are having a rebroadcast of the encounter service. And if you want a deeper look into that discussion with Bishop and Pastor Nick, the dynamic duo, you can go back and watch Engage Live that happened yesterday. But as we go into Tuesday, we have Focus Singles Ministry with Pastor Nick. He's going to come with another word at 7 p.m. And then we go into Wednesday for our Word Impact Gathering with some word and some worship at 7 p.m. So please let someone know that we are on all week long. And then we go into Thursday at 7 p.m. with our Sound Mind panel. So many things have been birthed, so many things have been produced throughout this pandemic. And Sound Mind, especially during this time, is so crucial. I love the topics. I love the conversation. I love the fellowship in the community that happens in the comments. So I encourage you guys to please join the
yeah.
conversation
And
on
it's
Thursday.
perfect because this Thursday's conversation is called No Regrets.
Oh,
So
no.
that ties into what we were talking about with, being able to forgive ourselves and to move on with no
Absolutely.
regrets.
And having no regrets at the end of this year and starting fresh and clean in January.
Mhm.
I love it. See how God works. And then, once you get that, that good conversation for Sound Mind, you can come for some laughter on Friday with Fresh Friday. So you see these faces here. They will be a part of the panel. Deacon McGee, who is in the comments, will be a part of the panel, as well as our very own Pastor Nicholas A. Smith. I'm
Yeah.
call him Nicholas A. Smith, Pastor Nicholas A. Smith now. He's going to look at me like I'm crazy. But Pastor Nicholas A. Smith will be there as well. You get some fun, some fellowship, some shade, some laughter. You'll get it all. Just a great way to end your week off. And then we go into the weekend with our On Point Radio at 9 a.m. with the Dynamic Duo again, where they talk about everything in the world. And then we have a full day of broadcast with the Encounter at 8 and 11 and Engage Live at 7:50 and 9:45 as well. And then we are back for 10 Times Better Women series this Sunday, right?
Mhm.
Free in a post discussion. So we want you guys to join us again next Monday for Maximize Monday at 12 and the recap at 5:30. And also remind you that next week is the last week for submissions for our ugly Christmas sweater as well as our homemade ornaments. So please,
And the toy drive. I really
yes,
want to
and toy drive.
stress. Do not forget about the toy drive because there's so many kids out. Think about when you were a kid, like you know how exciting it was to receive a toy for Christmas. So we just want to spread that joy. So Tiffany, yes, there will be a 10 times better woman. No,
I,
I will not be. I
I
have to
think she's
reread that,
asking.
Tiffany. No, I
Tiff,
will
because she
be
was dropping some gems, right? She was dropping some gems today. That's why she's asking. Because Maya was dropping. I tell her all the time. I can't wait to talk to
no.
Pastor Nick. I
Well, she
cannot wait to
and
talk to him.
Pastor Nick do such an excellent job. I'm
They
going to
do.
leave it to them to do this week. 10 times better woman.
Yes, Bishop and Pastor Nick, the dynamic duo, will have a pre and post discussion for the 10 Times Better Women series, Tiff. So please join us at 5:30. It begins, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so 5:30 for the pre-discussion. But yes, we love you guys. As I always say, we love you guys in the comments, all those that liked, all those that comment, all those that shared, all those that are going to watch later when this, is posted. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We want you to stay warm, stay
Mhm.
safe, and we look forward to seeing you throughout social media on all of our broadcasts. All right. Be blessed, Bethany family.
Bye.